Jalen Hurts is never going to get any respect from the media. Welcome to the channel. As we ramp up, finally heading into football season, I've been wanting to do this channel for a long time. Made the mistake of starting it like right before the Super Bowl. And then I'm like, well, most of this channel is probably going to be the Eagles. So I'm going to wait until we get back to fall and get more of the sports because we can also have the Sixers and Flyers, Philly playoffs, and all of that. But we've had a long ongoing thing after the Eagles won the Super Bowl and Jalen Hurts was Super Bowl MVP of everyone trying to convince us he's just not that good. So we got a clip here from Colin Cowherd's show that I want to play for you and that we can talk about and show you some things as well, comparing them to one of these elite quarterbacks. And I'm curious what you all think about this as well. So let's dig into this a little bit. It's about 2.5 minutes.
This off season, I know it's a slow off season for all of us in the talk show business, but there was a little bit of a week long theory. Jalen Hurts, when GMs and coaches polled privately their thoughts on the top 10 quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts was like 9. And my take has always been, I trust Greg Cosell. And I've said this. He reminds me of a more talented Dak Prescott. I like his EQ. I like his IQ. I like his toughness. I like his leadership. I don't love him from the pocket. I never loved Dak from the pocket. I just thought he was a smart, tough, gritty leader. When you hear that Jalen Hurts, the GMs, the scouts, the coaches are like, yeah, he's 9th best. What is your takeaway on Hurts, the quarterback?
Well, I think every quarterback, for the most part, becomes a function in many ways of their team, and Hurts is very much that kind of player. When you think about the Eagles and how they won a year ago the Super Bowl, my guess is most people, the first thing they say is not, boy, that's Jalen Hurts' team. I mean, this was a team with a running back that had a historical season. They've got the best O-line in football. They had the best defense in football. Jalen Hurts is a piece of a really good team, and they do a lot of things that are difficult to defend. And let me give you a few examples. And I've spoken to coaches this offseason about it. They are a 4-down offense, literally, once they get to, let's say, the minus 45-yard line or the 50-yard line. So now what happens is defenses, when it's 3rd and 8, have to play them totally differently because you know what? They're going to run the ball on 3rd and 8. Most teams will never consider running the ball on 3rd and 8. So now you have to think, how do I play defensively? Because they're going to run the ball, because if they get to 4th and 2, they are going to go for it. And Jalen Hurts is a critical piece of their 3rd down and 4th down offense. And one of the things he does exceptionally well, and I heard this a lot this offseason, everybody talked about A.J. Brown and how critical it is that he can win one-on-one on the outside. Because Jalen Hurts, the best thing about his throwing, Colin, is he works outside the numbers. He can throw the fade ball. He can throw the go ball. And A.J. Brown gets a ton of one-on-one because of the nature of their run game, which, of course, Jalen Hurts is a significant part of. So he's a critical piece in what he brings. But if you're comparing him to, let's say, the quarterbacks that we think of as being the elite guys that can, in a sense, be the guys that win games by themselves, he probably does not fall into that category.
Wow. Okay. So, well, those guys don't win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. And first of all, no one can win a game by himself, but it's weird, this bizarre thing to minimize Jalen Hurts. So one thing he almost got to with the passes to AJ Brown was Jalen Hurts is one of the best deep throwers in the NFL, period, hands down. There is no conversation about it. All this stuff about the run game and the line. Other players have good run games. Other players have lines. And do not forget, Saquon Barkley was here for one season. Is this not an Eagles team that 2 years ago was in the Super Bowl and was really, I wouldn't say it would guarantee a win, but they should have been a drive away at least from an opportunity to win that game off a very iffy call. I won't say they were robbed, but I'll say it was a very iffy call and really not the call you make to decide the winner of a Super Bowl, but that is how close they were back in 2022. Jalen has also gotten better and better at making call changes, making audibles at the line of scrimmage when he sees certain defenses. So he's really become quite good at reading defenses pre-snap and getting them into a play that is going to be more productive than what was originally called. Jalen Hurts does what is needed to win. If we go back again, He didn't have to throw that much because they had Saquon. Absolutely. He threw fewer passes than he ever had. We won't include 2020 because he only started the 4 games. But in 2023, he threw 538 passes. And yeah, the interceptions were a little high that year, right? He had what the previous years, 4, 9, 6, then 15, and then 5. But the guy threw for almost 3,900 yards. He's had 2 years of his 4 years as the starter where he's hit 8 yards per attempt, 7.6 yards per attempt for his career, 64.4%, including the last 3 years at 66.5, 65.4, 68.7%. They don't, he doesn't get a lot of the, uh, I shouldn't say cheap, but he doesn't get a lot in a way of those cheap touchdown passes because when they get down, even before Saquon, when they get down into that 5 yard line or whatever, they run a lot, and Jalen Hurts is a part of it. That's what you have to understand too, that is part of his game. The reason, or a big part of the reason, that they can be a 4 down offense when they get into opposing territory is because of Jalen Hurts' ability to run, not just on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, but running in general. He doesn't run, I think, as much as he used to, but when he gets out into open space and wants to run, look out. He is definitely a top quarterback for me. And just briefly, now look, not you can't go everything by stats, right? You have to look at film for sure. But I think everyone who's watching this video has seen enough of Jalen Hurts at least throwing the deep ball. If I'm going to be fair, and I say, well, what do we think he has to work on the most? For me, I think the getting through his progressions a little quicker from what I see in his dropbacks is reading that defense a little quicker in terms of his decision making for the pass he wants to make. But again, he's only started 4 years, right? This is the guy who's still pretty young. He could have another 10, 12 years of high quality football at the quarterback position. And he's already been to 2 Super Bowls and has a Super Bowl MVP. Josh Allen, he's one of the guys they're going to say is elite, right? He throws the ball a ton, over 4,000 yards, 4 seasons in a row. Didn't do it last year. Throws a lot more interceptions. Again, last year was other than his first full year as a starter, last year was the fewest attempts that he had as a quarterback. His completion percentage, 63.3, lower than Jalen Hurts. Now you might say, oh, well, Jalen throws more shorter passes. Well, Jalen's yards per attempt is higher than Josh Allen's. Okay. So look, hey man, Philly, this is what we get all the time, isn't it? So of course we're going to continue to get, oh, Jalen Hurts isn't that great. Jalen Hurts isn't a top quarterback. Jalen Hurts is the product of all this talent around them. It's weird. We weren't hearing that last year when they had their absolute collapse. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. We're going to start ramping up some videos on this channel, so I hope you do join us. Smash the like button, subscribe to this brand new channel, help us grow. And I will talk to you in the next video.